Thank you. If that's a best play. I am not playing this in the dark. I am not that good with that stuff. Hell no. Why out the front door? Hell to the no.
I can't play my game in the dark. I don't have a dark area.
Mm-mm.
In my heart and mind, I always return to Atlantic Island Park.
Oh, you can tell this is an older game.
Where's Mr. Bear?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's 10 years
I
old.
haven't seen Mr. Bear, Callum.
Excuse me. I hope that didn't come up on the mic.
Stay in the car. We'll go and ask information.
Yeah, let me. It reminds me of like the Osa so far. This reminds me of like Life is Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like before the remaster. Wait, I'm also streaming it in the Discord.
I am now watching it from there. I'm seeing in real time now.
Yes, yes.
Attention, patrons. The park is now closed. Please make your way to the car park at your earliest convenience. Employees, prepare the park for shutdown.
Callum was born the day this place opened. This is his favorite place in the world.
Give it to made this happy. Yes, whenever a part hit can, you know, and attribute to someone, that's never go bad.
Never.
You okay, Miss Ma'am?
Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine. Don't blame yourself, Lorraine. People lose things all the time. Take a deep breath and think about the last place you saw your son's teddy bear. Hey, stop! I think your boy just ran into the park.
Why didn't you lock the doors? Why why didn't you lock the doors?
Wait for Mommy, Callum!
Over here.
Why didn't you lock the doors? It's
I'm gonna check Throne and see when those beans are gonna be here.
The ones.
That's a lot of reading. I'm not reading all that.
No, I'm not evil. I'm just simming through it.
Oh man, they're still processing. Both of them are. That's unfortunate. I want my beans. My motherfucking beans. What the fuck?
Miss Ma'am, there's nothing stopping you from walking up those stairs. Just go.
Yeah, there's just walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
And on the other,
So far, it's like
Catch up to your
okay.
son.
So when I was little, whenever my parents went somewhere and they had to leave me in the top for me like a little bit, like to put away like you know the tart at stores, they will always lock the door. Why didn't you
Make
do
sure-
that?
Yeah, make sure that they can't get out and run around.
Or someone go
Callum
in.
ran back inside.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to leave either.
Which I believe for this timeline or whatever this is based in, that was a lot more happening.
Then again, I don't believe in leaving kids in the car at all.
Me neither, but it was mostly to put the talk away, which was like a few feet away. Ah, hell no.
The park
No.
looks a little run down now.
I want to go back. I'll leave the kid here. He'll be fine. Nope. Let me go back.
Stay where you are.
Let me go back. Let me go back. Why can't I go back? Oh hell no, the kids will be fine here. There's plenty of food.
He can live here now.
Yeah, hell no. Mm-mm.
You can't catch me.
You... Okay, I'm leaving you here now. Only I can be the brat.
Where's he running to?
Oh, if you're running into that big-ass mouth, I'm leaving you there. Uh-uh. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Ah, yes, bats. Totally not with rabies.
It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally safe.
Tyrion is a... Oh!
Oh.
Oh, damn. Well then. And I think... Okay. Well then.
That's not nice.
Well then. Haha.
That's not nice at all.
Hello, creepy ass mascot.
You just passed a shoe to examine.
I did? Oh! Why does that have to...
Something on the ground. I saw it pop up. No, you've already passed it. It's back further towards the front. It's just on the ground in the path.
That's fine. I don't...
Where did you go?
Oh, hell no.
That's not a statue. I'm calling it now.
Wait for Mommy! I wonder what this is.
This way, Mommy.
Oh, why do I hear animals? Why do I... You say they're a statue. Oh, I hear laughing. Oh, I hear laughing.
I get the feeling this game was never about finding a teddy bear.
Callum? Stay
Well,
where you are.
it is a psychological horror. So...
I get the feeling we're looking for the boy, not his bear.
Mm-mm.
Lived a poor woodcutter, his wife and his 2 children. A boy named Hansel
Callum,
and a
where
girl
are you?
named They were very poor.
This is a Hansel and Gretel story? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. This, See, I do fine with most horror. Hell, I watch horror movies at least like probably once a month with my dad. And it's not just that, oh, a bunch of kids go missing horror. No, I watch like, the real horror movies.
Near a
But
great
playing the
forest
video
lived a
games.
poor woodcutter, his wife and his 2 children. A boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel. They were very poor and had very little to
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of bourbon. Jack fell down on top of Jill, and out popped little Herman.
What will become of us? The woodcutter asked his wife one night. I tell you what, husband. We will take the children into the thickest part of the forest tomorrow and abandon them there. No, my wife. I cannot.
Yeah, that is actually what happened in some versions of
Then
the
we will all
story.
starve, you fool.
No.
Hansel and Gretel overheard their parents talking, and Gretel began to weep.
At least I
Do
believe
not
so.
fret, Gretel, Hansel said. He crept out of the hut and gathered white stones from the ground to fill his pockets. The next morning, the woodcutter leads the children into the forest. Before they leave, their mother gives them a slice of bread and warns them that they
Oh,
must
why are
no
you
more
there?
eat
Oh.
Oh well, that's
No.
fucking creepy.
No. Mm-mm.
Clever Hansel leaves a trail of white stones behind them as they pass into the woods. When their father leaves them,
No, they do.
then follow the trail.
No, they
back to
do.
Helen's house.
No, they do. No, they do.
After receiving
I can't take my eyes on it
correspondence
anymore.
from their
Hell no.
parents getting lost in the woods, the children
No. No.
Hansel tried to
You
No.
got this, honey.
more white stones.
You got this.
Look at it.
Tomorrow
I
will take them into the woods
man.
myself, the wife told him.
Move, lady.
got
You
this,
can turn
honey.
around. You do not need to be
In the
facing
morning, their mother
forward.
gave them a slice of bread and led them deep into the forest once again.
I believe in you, honey.
Hansel broke his bread into pieces and left a trail of breadcrumbs to lead them safely home. But hungry-eyed birds snatched up the breadcrumbs and his trail was destroyed.
Thank you, Celeste, for the lucky look.
Abandoned by their parents,
If you're listening to me,
unable to
I'm
find
sorry
the
in
trail,
advance. I might
children
scream
wandered in the forest for 3 days.
or swear or both.
Look on the bright side. At least it's not
The children
Outlast.
stumbled into a
I
cave with an
I wouldn't even open that
exceedingly
damn. I would
strange
close
house.
it within like the first menu.
Its walls were made of gingerbread, and its windows were panes of clear sugar. Hansel, desperately hungry, ran forward and began to nibble
Ah,
on
yes,
the
just
walls.
nibble on the random candy in the middle of the forest. What to go wrong?
Nibble, nibble, little mouse. Who is nibbling at my house? An old woman emerged from the house, sniffing the air and peering around with cloudy eyes. Oh, you dear children, who brought you here? Just come in and stay with me. No harm will come to you.
Bullshit. You are a walking red flag, lady.
For the old woman reminded them of
Mm-mm.
their cruel mother.
Mm-mm.
Come, children, don't be afraid. I have something for you. The old woman offered them 2 enormous lollipops. The children took them and began to eat. You see, nothing to fear here.
I like the narrator so far, though.
Hide.
Fantastic job.
Right?
And the children,
Doing
still
a great job.
followed.
It's the perfect mix of educational and creepy.
Once inside
Okay.
the house, the old woman
Why did the
was
boat hit something?
She stuffed
Mm.
Hansel into a cage and put Gretel to work, sweeping, cleaning her hut.
Where's my damn
Your
plushie?
brother will make a good mouthful, the old witch told Gretel. Once he is fattened up, I shall feast upon him.
I want out. The water probably not
Time
that deep.
passed,
I want
and poor
out. I don't care if I go
Hansel
for a
used to
swim.
it,
I want out.
fearing the day that the witch would eat him. The witch, for her part, grew impatient. Today I will cook and eat your brother, Gretel. Climb inside and
Thank you
light
for the
oven."
10 soon, sweet.
But Gretel pretended not to understand. I do not know how.
I don't care if there's something in the water. Hell no, I want not be on this boat at all.
The open
He's got Traveler's got a point. There could be something in the water.
I want to deal with that and listen to the damn story.
We did hit something with the boat.
And? Honey, you know where I live. There's something always in the water. I could be like, eat it and then run away.
I don't think you'll outrun whatever's in the water, honey.
Boss me.
Until her screams had stilled. Was cooked.
Thank you for doing your daily dope boop. Remember dope boop a day to send us a bay.
Children can't survive on sweets. They divided up the body of the old witch and ate her.
They ate the witch. Okay. Gross.
I mean, When
Is
Hansel
there
and
is there people standing there now?
no,
Okay.
those are pillows.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
when depending on what version of the Hansel and Gretel story it is, because they're all multiple versions, because it's kind of like I don't believe it's a Grimm Brothers fairy tale. I think it's something else. Back then, if you were hungry enough, yeah, no.
It's fair. Oh, God, the duck's head is turning.
I will eat you alive. I don't care if you're made out of plastic.
Well, that wasn't creepy, not at all.
Let me out. 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 Let me out.
It just wants a hug.
It ain't getting a hug. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out.
Take a ride through the Tunnel of Tales achievement. Wasn't that
Hansel and
fun?
Gretel. I used to read it to Callum when the electricity was shut off.
It better not have been that version.
Children, the whole world against them.
We're heading back towards the statue.
The birds, the old witch, even their own parents. I used to imagine that Callum and I were the kids in that story. Not mother and son, but brother and sister, hand in
Ma'am?
hand against the unkind world. We were always hungry, looking for our own house made of candy, looking for the sweetness that could take the pain away. Hunger leads
Wasn't the
people to
statue there
desperate,
before?
terrible places where the
Yes,
tree branches reach like claws.
that is where the statue was.
That is it. I'm out. Do 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 do. That is it. I'm out. Do 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 do. Ted, you're living here now. You're gonna be like Tarzan, but with the theme park.
Why don't you try shouting for him?
Callum! Where did you go?
Oh hell no! Why did you whisper tweepily?
Callum!
Nope. I'm leaving you here now. Bye. Bye. See you next week.
Come on, honey. You gotta go in there.
No, sweetie.
Would you go in there?
Sure.
Come back.
It sounds like that's where the boy is.
Too dark. I'm
Yeah.
not going in there without a flashlight.
Small.
Where are you?
Which way? I'm bad at this.
Mommy needs to see you, Callum.
Follow this. Mama Daha? Why are you being tweepy?
Callum, come back here right now.
That's the way back out of the park.
Yeah, but you said there was something over here.
Stop, Callum.
I did?
I
I was talking about near that statue.
Oh, okay.
There was a shoe on the ground way back then.
Hello? Hello?
Hope the game is saving.
Don't hide from me, Callum.
I think because since this is an older game, it used to randomly save.
Oh.
I'm not playing anymore, Callum. Callum, stay where you are.
So by the sound, Callum is back the way you just came from.
Over here?
No, the other way.
Okay, I was confused.
By the sound, he's somewhere in that direction.
Follow the trail. I can't see anything.
Wait, Callum. Mommy needs to see you, Callum. Come back, Callum.
Catch me, Mommy.
Oh man, I thought I saw someone inside that building and almost shit myself for a second.
No.
Callum, where'd you go?
Like, I don't. Since I can't really see that well, it's kind of hard to mark out.
Callum.
Yeah, I get you.
Callum.
The game likes to save when you reach this gate.
Yeah, but I don't.
I don't know how to get through it though.
Yeah. Since it's kind of hard to see what to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure, honey.
It's okay. That's why I'm just looking around to see if there is anything that I have to like pick up.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's closed, so we can't go in there. Oh,
Maybe there's a light by where the statue was that we're supposed to take.
Maybe, but it would have picked up.
Where are you?
This way, Mommy.
Come to mommy, Callum.
Catch me, Mommy.
I think that what was supposed to go near the end. At least that's what my suggestion is.
So apparently there was a way to go left at the swan ride, possibly,
Mm-hmm.
and we should have probably taken that route if possible. So head back towards the swan ride and let's
Yeah.
check that out.
I'm going to.
Because Traveler remembers seeing a Ferris wheel and doesn't know if it's possible to
Callum,
head towards it.
tell mommy where you are.
It's better than nothing, so we might as well go
Yeah,
try.
that's why whenever I like play these games, I rather if I stream them than just record, because that is easier in the end. Because then you can get helpful advice like that.
There is a pathway this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, this little kid needs to be put into a fucking home.
Mm-hmm.
This kid can go up for adoption. We don't need him anymore.
No, let's leave him here. There's food. No, like, like, okay, I'm gonna be realistic here since like, I grew up going to a park like this, where it was like, you could tell it wasn't like anything fancy, right? It wasn't like, and I saw Z pictures of the park I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
No, there will be security in these parts. More so if it's in the forest. What? Not because of people like, wandering in or anything. No, because of wildlife.
You're overlooking an important detail, honey.
What?
This park looks abandoned.
Yeah, but still, even in parks like this, there has to be some type of protection. Because there are going to be always stupid people that are going to try to go into these places. And if there was, anything that happened there, more so.
Nobody's gonna get in trouble if the place is abandoned, though, for something happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody wanders onto an abandoned property. Who are they gonna sue?
Yeah.
This place.
Why is there blood?
Good question.
I think whenever she has risen... Oh.
Think you found the teddy bear.
Why is it not letting me pick it up? There we go. Let's have
I will be right back.
Mm-hmm. For anyone that's wondering, I only play horror games every other week. So like this Tuesday, I'm playing one, and then next Tuesday, I won't, and then the Tuesday following, I will. But from what I know, this game is not that long. It's like 2 hours max.
Please, Callum, tell me where you are.
Yeah, you know what did I take a quick breather because I hear some bullshit. I hear some bullshit happening. You are being watched. Oh, most definitely. I think because I have seen people play this. To be tell them, but okay, the mascot. You're fine. The mascot came alive. There's some bullshit with that, but Helvison does say so. That's why I'm wondering if she has something going on. Okay, I will have to buy that one. I do not trust. So fun fact about me, I love theme parks. I love theme park. I love anything like even at fairs. If I can ride like a fair, not fair really, because I don't trust those. But like any of like fair wise, I would 100%. However, I don't trust anything that has water. Like small water. Just because of like for example, the boat conditioner. And most of the time, they are well taken care of. But small places like this, well, it is near a forest. I'm like, Why would that be on? If I go up to the Ferris wheel, I'm no. I do not like being able to see. If I can see below my feet, I'm
This
no.
whole thing used to make the blood run to my head. Make me dizzy. The guy just snapped. Those poor kids.
We are waiting our turn at the point, and anyway, the Sith man was carrying a pickup. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Why is there so much water with every one of these?
Callum? Hello? I can't get on while it's moving.
Hello, Lee. What? Why? What? Why? How? 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 Oh, hell no. Hell no. No, no. Get me off. Please and thank you. I had to. No, thank you. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Callum, come back here right now! Mommy needs to see you, Callum. Oh, I remember this. Callum, where did you go?
Which way?
Callum! Treachery hides in thoughts. Treachery that lashes like a whip and scars our insides. The first time I saw Callum, my thoughts betrayed me. I looked down at this wrinkled, red, bawling thing and I thought, is that it? We build our world from expectations, and the world that I had built for Callum was no different. He was so real, so there, and so far from my expectations. And they shattered, and as they fell in pieces, that one treacherous thought became a new foundation. All of the love that we shared, all of the warmth and goodness that followed, built on a single, traitorous thought.
This place is definitely abandoned.
Stop! Callum! Callum, stay where you are!
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, dinosaur. Hi, dinosaur.
Constant crashes and 80s music. I guess it floats someone's boat.
Oh no, I didn't.
Come back. Callum? Where'd you go?
This way, Mommy.
Don't hide from me, Callum.
I might pause it here to collect my breath. No, it wasn't one a twit ad. Oh, no. And I'm on my diamond voice. Hi, Dodo. Did you attempt to tongue flip me? Hi, Dodo. Hey. Wow. You just opened my door and walked away. Okay. I see how it is. I see how it is. This why me. Shimmy. Enough by Sunday as well. So all you wanna do is
I'm back. Sorry about that.
you're fine.
Had to use the bathroom.
I'm just taking a breather. I think I does feel pretty bad.
that spinning thing got you, huh?
No, it was a monster.
Yeah, it was the thing. It was the thing on the spinny thing.
Yeah, hell no. No.
It was just standing there menacingly.
Yeah, but it appeared out of nowhere. Hell no. Mm-mm.
You're adorable.
How am I adorable? I
You
feel
just are.
bad that I probably hurt people's ears by me screaming.
No, you peaked your mic.
I did.
Mm-hmm. So nobody heard how loud it was. You're fine.
Alright. Oh, die. Ah.
The hell?
So she had stuff happen to her. Sarah Davis. Well, it's not even that, Lee. I wouldn't say bid fears. I'm fine with most horror games. I'm fine with most scary things. But there are some things that just make me panic. Things that happen suddenly, like sudden loud noises or sudden imagery. That body horror. That why I can never play Outlast. I didn't listen to people play it. Like Z.
By that she means she can listen to me piss myself while I suffer, but she refuses to suffer too. I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
Yeah, I know.
You're good.
But like I think out of everyone I have ever met, Z and a few others take that fact very seriously. Because like there's some body horror that I'm like, okay, I can handle this. That's because it's not too bad. Like some zombies, like 7 Days to Die, that stuff. I can like, okay, this is not too bad. And then we have Outlast. And I'm like, nope. And there's one zombie game I want to play, which is a Telltale game, but more so for the story. Because I know what happens in that one. Well, most of it.
Clementine, my child.
But most because I love story games like that, where you make your own decision. Yeah, me and Z were watching a movie the other day, and he literally paused the movie if I wanted to skip over the part that I knew was about to happen.
Yeah, we had a part that was coming up that was some slight body horror. So I paused the movie and I was like, hey, just so you know, here's what's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you want to watch it? We can skip it.
Mm-hmm. And I was fine with it because I've seen the movie before. It's more like, with my body horror, if it does like that type of stuff, it's more so if you can see the bones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if you like so, like extreme makeup artists when they do stuff for like Universal Horror Night. If it's very detailed and like it looks really realistic. Yeah. I have a few friends who are very scared of clowns. To the point that when even they're playing Dead by Daylight, if we did the clown, they immediately twit. They immediately twit.
Disconnect
Yeah, disconnect.
or DC.
Well, the thing is, it has to be like realistic travel. It has to be like, what I mean by that is like, it looks like an actual human. If it's like animals, it's different actually, but that's more just because I grew up in the countryside.
Just like animals.
Most animals.
Like animals, moles. Sorry.
You're fine. Oh,
Where are you?
oh no, I might have to take over. I hate bumper cars. I did so motion sickness on them.
You got this, honey. I believe in you.
Yeah. This is 1976, so okay. Despite any of the Francis was still. Oh.
Oh, it's just a work accident report.
What? What? Move! Move!
Well, that was spoopy.
Move. Move out of the way. So this place is definitely haunted, right? Right? There was like 3 deaths so far at this part. This place is definitely haunted.
Definitely. Z loves his goat even though he is a bottom for her. I'd say being willing to be a bottom for somebody when you are a top shows love.
And even if it's the other way around, too. Like,
yeah, if you're willing to top when you're a bottom.
But what shows love is willing to care for one another no matter what the other one is going through.
It's a matter of public record.
No, it just means that you're a bottom. Okay, fuck you too.
Once, when Calvin was very small, I left him asleep in the car while I ran an errand.
I just have to say, thank you, Dane, for not making me do bumper toss. Thank you. Because that probably would have made me not want to play this game. Because anytime there is any type of bumper toss in anything, and I mean this in like real life, too, I cannot handle bumper toss. I did so motion sickness. But also, that's a beast town where I am, and there's bumper toss. Anytime my dad sees one, he wants to do the bumper toss because it's right next to one of his like, favorite snack places. And if you do both, you get % off, basically. If you buy a ticket to do the bumper toss, you get % off on your food. I can't do bumper toss, not just because of the motion sickness, but just because I don't really have a lot of strength in my hands to control the tall.
That's fair.
It's not fair.
No, I'm saying you not wanting to play them with that circumstances is a fair perspective.
The sheriff was standing
The
next
Ferris
to the car,
wheel's turning.
watching my boy through the window. I didn't like what I saw in his eyes.
I know some Ferris wheels that have this at the last bottom. If anyone makes me buy one of those things, sleep with one eye open.
He wrote me the ticket without saying a word. Just the scratch of his pen on the notepad. When he gave it to me, our eyes met. I know what you're going through. My daughter, Helen, she just gets some help. Help was a bolt of lightning. Help was 1,000
Oh,
voices surging through
oh,
my
I think I
veins.
get the plot of this
Help.
game.
Hmm.
Do you want me to? Oh, you want me to say it? It might.
Yeah.
It might be a spoiler.
I'd rather die.
I mean, I know
I'd
the
rather
ending.
scream. I'd rather you pulled your gun and
I
So
know.
I think her son died,
Instead,
and
my mouth
she
said,
is just
"Yes,
basically
yes."
facing her demons, chasing down the grief.
I think you're pretty close. But what I know about the ending is that
be afraid.
this game, back when it first came out, was a top of must assassin.
But I think her son died in a theme park accident.
Every boat turns loose every year. Oh, And so I'm not afraid of heights. No, okay, I'm not afraid of heights, but more like if I can see the bottom of something when I'm really high up in the air and it's not close by, that is when I am like,
Callum, where did you go?
Hey, when you get up there, don't look down.
I have to look down. There's a freaking masaw after my booty. Oh, After this is probably what I will call it for this game. Oh, okay. Okay, I can just look down like this. Okay, I'm good. But it's one of the older roller coasters. This ain't good.
Yeah, I would not trust the stability of that thing to ride on it.
I wonder where this takes place. I don't remember if they said.
People come into your life for a reason. Dad used to say that before Mom ran off. After that, he mostly just drank. Things were
Damn.
different for Don and I. When we met, I was sweeping the floor at Susie's diner. He came in with some workers, but he didn't try to flirt or cop a feel like the others. He just ordered a coffee and sat there, watching me. When my shift was over,
So, some parts when they still have power wanting. Now, again, we don't know if this is truly or abandoned or if she's a managing. Because one, she has been having like stuff happen. This is the first person thing where like her vision is blurry. So we don't know if it's truly abandoned or if she's just hallucinating it. But yeah, some parts say power, but that's more because someone might be living on property if it's like a family-owned business.
it felt like love. It felt like a fairy tale.
Oh, I should have
Can't
not
tell
looked
if the one
down.
was made that night or one of the ones
Yeah,
that
don't look
followed.
down, honey.
I think it has to be that night.
I'm gonna look around though because I want to
Dawn and
see
I
if
moved
that
in
guy
together,
pops
but
up.
Then, well, he died. According to the supervisor, his safety harness failed when he was working on the top of the Ferris wheel.
What?
Don was there one moment, and then gone. Sometimes people leave your
Why would you take your son to the part that his father died
life
at?
for no reason.
Very good
I was
question.
3 months pregnant with Callum. Fairy tale fucking over.
Because Callum wasn't born yet.
Still, but like, if you knew your husband or the father of your child died somewhere, why would you take them to the place?
Good question.
Oh, hi. Let me
Oh,
down,
hi.
plane. Let me down, please. I don't want to be on this anymore. Thank you. Thank you.
So I think he shows up somewhere in every ride.
Yes. But I don't think he showed up for the song, but then I was more listening to the story.
I think I saw him somewhere.
To say goodbye, maybe? But at the same time, it probably just me, but like, if I had a loved one die at like a really popular face, I don't think I would want to go there. But more because depending on who the loved one is, it could leave really a bad taste in your mouth and make it not enjoyable for who are around you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want to get to the next place, and I'll probably save. Oh look, why?
Game is auto saved.
Yeah.
Mommy is coming, Callum.
Oh hell no. I just wonder if there was anything nearby. Because normally when there's something like this, that's no. Oh,
Where are you, Callum?
well then.
Well, the way is no longer blocked.
Mm-hmm. Poor lady though. Like, she had some traumatic stuff happen in her life.